Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's a social production. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, where can you find these videos? Every Wednesday and Friday, drop down on Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. If you like to watch the full-length videos, check out patreon.com/RobSadri. If you like to fiscally, financially support the show, to see it grow, to see the facilities enhance, to see multiple versions of me, because I'll clone my ass and I'll put like 2-3 versions of myself and I'll jujitsu myself for your entertainment purposes only, of course. If you've been with me from the get-go, sending all the love right back to you, wherever you're tuning in from. And if it's your first time, you're like, what is this? It's a relatively, it's not the newest of Hollywood. We're getting in there. We're getting some, I don't know what's happening, but it is happening. It's been some time. So, we're out there. So you can join in anytime you like. You can start watching from today on and subscribe on the YouTube channel, you son of a bitch. So that your mom and dad don't get hepatitis while they're on their beautiful vacation down south somewhere in the Caribbean island. Or I'm not saying that, but bring your own water. Don't use the ice that they're just dispensing at the local ice dispenser. Or I don't know, maybe you'd like your parents to get hepatitis down south. I don't care. Whatever you want, I do care, but I don't care. Whatever you want, we'll give it to your parents. Whether you want your parents to have hepatitis or not, by subscribing, you'll make sure that they get it or they don't. If you check under your seats right now, you'll find a free batch of hepatitis for everybody, wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, down south, the United States, over there in Mexico, South America, over there in Africa. What's going on in Botswana? Had to learn that one recently. Botswana, it's going to become one of my favorite regions to call it from now on. Botswana. Botswana. It's right near South Africa. We'll get to Botswana later. Botswana, man. I don't know what they sound like. I gotta get me some Botswanians. Gotta listen to some Botswanian music just to get the lingo and the dialect so we can tune in. So you know what I mean? But nonetheless, over there in Europe, over there in Asia, over there, Australia, New Zealand, underwater, hovering on a hoverboard. You're sitting on a car that goes into the water and it flies too. Congratulations. Where'd you get it? Also, oh man, who's gonna be piloting these bad boys that go in and out of water? That's gonna be fun. But nonetheless, wherever you're tuning in from, I hope you're doing well. It's gonna be an extra loose day because I may or may not have pulled a little bit of my back. I don't know doing what, just regular activities, but it's all right. It's not too shabs. It is not too bad. Ladies and gentlemen, we do got a lot of stuff to get through. Let's see where it leads us. I don't know which direction we're gonna fly, but we are flying, baby. The pilot is, I hope you're buckled up because it's gonna be a ride it's gonna be bumpy. It'll be turbulence. Don't roll down your windows, but also roll down your windows. I'm tired of airplanes not having roll down windows. If you wanna just have a cig in the airplane, if they just put windows that just go up and down, I don't know what the big deal. You're like, oh, it'll suck you out of the airplane. Will it? Will it really? Will it? And if we lose a couple of people, is it not worth it for you to be able to enjoy a nice, smooth flavor of your favorite tobacco / nicotine or whatever? I'm just saying, let's roll down the windows, ladies and gentlemen, but let's get right into it. Just stuff right off the top of the old noggin. We do have gun silencers. Yeah, gun silence. If you want your gun to be extra silent, if you're if you've got like a little, 22, a little 44, little, you like pistol whipping people, motherfucker? You like that? But you like to do it in silence? You go get yourself a silencer and your guns are now silent, which is nice. Like you could be in your bed and just be shooting right beside your partner and your partner doesn't know anything because your gun is silent. You can be on one of those memory foam mattress. The ones with the commercials where they have a cat just urinate on the side of the bed and nobody wakes up because you can't feel the cat moving around and pissing on that kind of bed. But on this kind of bed, you can also use a gun silencer that also decreases the volume of your gun. You could just be fucking right beside your partner's eardrum. And she or he is just often, who knows where, just catching disease, chasing dragons, riding dragons, but also slaying dragons, saving princes and princesses that are not you and his or her dream. Is she or he cheating in that world? Does it count? No, it doesn't. Hands off my dreams. saving Consuela. I don't know, her name's Consuela. She's in my dreams. What can I say? She's got big tits, big booty. Can't help myself but to save her. You'll say that, and it's fine, because dreamland is your personal, that's the most private space you get. So if it's in your dream world, it's not cheating. She'll still get mad at you in the morning if you say it, but it's not cheating though. Why are you so hard? Oh, just the regular hardness of the old cock. Don't worry about it. You dream. Tell me about your dream. Yeah, you don't want to know about my dream. Ladies and gents, robots of all ages. But the gun silencer and the gun silencer is fun and all that jazz. But what's more important for you to have variety options. What about a gun amplifier? That's never been done. That's never been introduced. What if you want to let people know you're popping off, and you want it to be because that's what it is. Because you have like regular cars with like regular exhausts that are just like, you know, doing their regular, and then you get like a car that whizzes by that's got that muffler, or maybe it's not even a muffler. Maybe just somebody went out under the car and just poked a hole through the muffler, so it's making a lot of noise. But it's rattling, and it's letting you know that they're coming through. And they like it, and they get a kick out of it. But what if we had mufflers essentially for guns that amplified it and maybe made it sound declaring that every time you took a shot, it actually said "shots fired," amplifying the noise, but like really loud. Because like that's the thing too. You might have a tiny gun, and you're like, man, I feel kind of inadequate with my time. I show up to the gun range, and all the boys are there with their heavy artillery, and I want to be a little bit like, you don't have to go spend a lot of money on a huge gun. And you know what they say about fellas with small guns? Secure or on a budget. Well, on one of those two, which is in these times, if you're fiscally responsible, that's also a good fella to be looking out for, ladies. A fella with a small gun, secure in his sexuality. That's what they say. That, and again, probably working on a budget, but also, what if I told you that your tiny gun, your smallest of guns, could make the hugest, loudest the noises possible? Well, you can have that with a gun amplifier. Nobody's ever gone into a situation where like, I like my gun to be a little bit louder. Well, it's because you never had the option, but now you do. You just will fucking blow your grandma's eardrums right out of her fucking ears, man. She will start bleeding from her, but that's worthwhile. She's 89, she's done it all. Check one off the bucket list. There's plenty more to go. Let's give her a little bit of a birthday party, shall we? Ladies and gents, boys and girls, that's a little bit of gun amplifiers. I'll say this, a lot of people will come in and get in a vehicle, and maybe they'll gather in a designated area of the city. Maybe they're driving pits. Sometimes they're illegal driving gatherings of sorts, which is like borderline if you're not doing anything illegal. What is illegal? What is street racing is illegal, I believe. But nonetheless, maybe some people like to do donuts with their vehicles. Maybe they've seen a couple of the Fast and Furious flicks, and they're like, I want to soup up my car. I want to get in there and just fucking do donuts. And all the time, it's a little bit sad, I'm not gonna lie to you, in terms of, because people get in there, they invest a lot of time, money, energy, they pick up driving skills that allows them to apparently do donuts, which is basically, I don't know how it works, but you kind of lock the front wheels and spin the back wheels, and you start creating so-called donuts in the back. But I've seen a lot of people gather in circles. I've seen a lot of people get excited. Everybody's like, yeah, this guy or this lady's got to get in a car, start spinning and handing out donuts. And meanwhile, all they're doing is they're spinning in one motion, and there's no donuts, no sweets dispensed from any part of this vehicle, which, although gets the people excited, they're all happy to see you spinning in circles, but there's actually no donuts dispensed from the vehicles that are supposedly there to do donuts. I say we're being gaslit. I say this is the old fucking smoke and mirrors show. I say this is, man, they're saying one thing but they're just running around in circles. No sweets dispensed from back of any vehicle. What if I told you we could change that? What if we made vehicles that upon activation, when you're spinning in circles, actually dispense donuts? I'm talking chocolate dip donuts. I'm talking old-fashioned plain donuts. I'm talking a little bit of Krispy Kreme. I'm talking a little bit of Boston creamy on the inside, extra chocolate on the outside. Let's keep it going. But that's what I'm talking about. Actual donuts. No more, because I've seen people show up to these events where they're like, this guy's gonna do the greatest donuts. There are no donuts. You walk away hungry, you walk away hangry, you walk away with your sweet tooth not having been penetrated. And you know what they say about sweet tooths that don't get penetrated? They say something about it. So in the meantime, instead of just relying on these regular cars, together we could definitely build these cars that dispense donuts. And you don't even need to do circles. We could just fucking be standing outside in a parking lot, press a button, Donut City from your car, and that way you could really say, I'm doing a donuts with my, instead of just really just going in circles. Just nothing. Just going to no donuts. What's a no pastry chef? Get a little bit of put a little pastry chef in the back of the trunk, have him or her make donuts, spin in circles, pop the trunk, dispense the donuts. That's where it's at. Instead of lying to the folks all the time. People, yes, do get excited to a certain degree. They're like, yeah, spin in circles, so excited, you smoke, maybe there'll be donuts. And they'll walk away in like some sort of like collective amnesia. Yeah, did you see that guy do donuts? Legit, no donuts. Nothing. So enough lies, enough playing with people's emotions, and let's get to the bottom of this thing and solve it together. I don't care. Bring in the best scientists. I really don't care how much it costs. Bring in the best scientists. We should get donuts for cars that are easily dispensed, whether with the push of a button or just revving the engine a little bit or having, again, a pastry chef just queef out a couple of donuts from the back of the seat. I don't care how we do it. It's 2024, we're moving into 2025 very soon. Let's get it going together, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday, August the 23rd, of course. Thank you for joining me. Once again, we're here. I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen. There's events that are happening in and around the world, and this one really touched me personally, or maybe not so personally, but it touched me. Not literally, but like metaphorically, it touched me. I'm not gonna bring a doll and show you where it touched me, but it touched. Talking about paint jobs, good paint jobs gone bad. Good people out there spending thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars a month, financing, leasing vehicles from manufacturing companies that say, you know what? We're gonna create a vehicle for you to be able to afford and get out there and do your thing. And you're like, yes, I'm gonna invest a couple $100 a month, maybe $200, $300, $400 a month, depending on the vehicle type that you do get. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I don't know your exact payment. But you're like, I'm gonna get a Hyundai. I've shopped around a Hyundai. It's whatevs, the slanted H manufacturer. They are putting out vehicles out there. People are purchasing them, leasing them, financing them. Brand new vehicles are rolling off the parking lot, seemingly having perfectly fine paint jobs. After a little while, apparently there's been many cases of paints peeling off of these vehicles, and I am here to represent my clients. I am representing a lot of sad families, a lot of devastated families that have just been through it all and now have their vehicles brand new paint fall off like it's fucking just like it's a Dolly painting, like it's just some sort of, they're tripping balls, man, because they're going outside and they're getting in their vehicles and the paints are falling off. And the worst part of it all is that you invest in your vehicle and you think, you know what, I'm gonna get in this economy vehicle. I'm gonna get in this economy class vehicle, put my family in it, get from A to B, and somewhat of a, it's in a certain level of dignity and with a certain level of respect. But next thing you know, when the paint peels off, and all of a sudden in the neighborhood, there are going to be questions. Maybe not verbally put out into the universe, but in the back of the people's mind. People are just thinking, what kind of family is that? With paint that's peeling off their vehicle. Maybe they don't care about themselves. Maybe they don't care about their families. Next thing you know, the word gets around that you don't care about your family, that you don't care about yourself because of poor paint jobs. Next thing you know, your boss calls you into his office or her office, and he or she's gonna have a little monthly review or a quarterly review or a half-year review or a yearly review. And they're going through let's look at your stats and see how you've performed, Johnny. And they'll say that, and they'll go, oh, you did well over here. You've been, your customer service experience has been extraordinary. It's really great. You've been sending out the emails and calling and all that stuff. All the stats are. But I gotta say right here, I did notice you pulling into the parking lot with a poor paint job on your car, and this does not state the company's name. Sort of, this is not the type of employee that we're searching. I suggest you step out of it. And all of a sudden you got this extra pressure from the higher ups. Now you got to go maybe fork out of your own pocket or wait in line to get everybody's paint jobs fixed. Why did this happen? Why did wonderful, beautiful families have to get divorced because of poor paint jobs? Where did we go wrong? Again, it's very difficult for us to face this, but we are in it together. And I will represent all of you, despite the fact that none of you asked for this representation, but it's pro bono, which means there's boners involved, which means I'm hard right now as I'm representing it's a professional it's a professional boner, pro bono. That's right, I've been bono since '89, so it's been I've got a lot of experience. Pro bono, and I'm for it too, because I've never been anti-bono. Bono, everybody in favor of bono, say aye. This guy's hands going up immediately. But that's what I'm saying. No longer will you have to pull up to the parking lot in a grocery store and be judged by your fellow neighbors who are looking, whispering. You could hear it, despite them not even saying it. Ugh. What kind of driver is this guy or that lady? Ugh. Just making all sorts of assumptions about you, your status, how you're making a neighborhood look. God, devastating. But all this could be easily solved. And we are filing for a class action lawsuit. And that means the lawsuit is classy. It's not one of these fucking ghetto ass laws. It's a class action, and it's filled with action adventure. Lawsuit. You're like, you don't need to go that far. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I'm that kind of pro bono, non-licensed lawyer that practices law. No borders on this guy. So yes, we want our paint jobs restored immediately. We want double the paint. I want extra paint to go along with just for, safe measures. I want all the owners, their bodies to be painted and coated and matching in the same color as their car, because they paid good money. I want whoever's owning any sort of vehicle that's produced by Hyundai that's got paint peeling off, you should have the ability to be painted over with good solid paint, whether it's red, blue, navy, off-white, gray, I don't care. It's whatever you like. You will match your car. There's a warranty for that for 5 years as well. No more being a disappointment to yourself, your loved ones, and your relatives, and your acquaintances, and your neighbors, community at large. They'll be able to look at you moving forward with a proper paint job and say, "That guy's an outstanding citizen. That lady's got a good head on her shoulders. You know how I know she's got a good paint job on her car? That's a man or a woman I can rely on." They'll say that. Now while you're driving with these paint peeling off, you're just, oh, God. Devastating. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, it's Friday. what's happening in and around the world. A lot of exciting events are happening in and around the world. Quickly, I was just like checking in on the Ukraine-Russian war stat in terms of like how long it's been. It's been 2.5 years. 2.5 years. Time flies. And can we just? It's been. Are there any winners at this point? Is anyone really winning? Outside of the yes, if you are a weapons manufacturing company, if you are a construction company that has the contracts to rebuild whatever has been destroyed, it's been 2.5 years. It's literally like that was just a little, it came on my radar just because I wanted to, and again, thousands of lives lost. Who's winning? Who are the winners here? Just asking questions, just curious as to when this is going to end. Same with the Palestine, the Israel thing. I don't know how long that one's been going on, but again, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? But after all, think about the things that you can control and all that jazz, and the things that you can't control, leave it to the good leaders of the world to do some good leading in all the wonderful directions that they lead people into with their great leaderships. But ladies and gentlemen, what's exciting? Let's get right into the exciting stuff. A little bit again. This is and you're like, why did you mention Botswana in the beginning of the episode? First of all, I'll fucking shout out any country I like. I'll fucking shout it out. And that one, I didn't even know it existed. Like I've seen it on the map from it, but I've never really zoomed. I know where South Africa is, but it's like right there, right by it. But it's exciting because Botswana is actually a rich nation filled with lots of resources, I'm assuming, because it's in Africa. I don't know, to be honest with you. I've never been. I'd like to visit. But there's been some recent events. So one major event that happened, it's current. It's a little bit of I'm not saying this. Some might say this. They might say it's a blemish on the country. Some might say that it's kind of like, it's it's not anything to be proud of. I'll say that. In Botswana, they just found the world's second largest diamond, which is, it's disappointing in a sense that, because as the old saying goes, I've not said this, but somebody said this, and if you're not first, you're last. So Botswana is now in possession of the world's second largest diamond, which is just pure yuck. Ew. Disgust, right? If you're not first, you're last. So second largest diamond. Now you got this like oddly shaped rock, which is kind of raw. It's not even been buffed or anything. It is, it's kind of tarnishes the name of the Botswanians. And I'd like to offer to Botswana, I don't know how many carats it has exactly. It has a lot of carats. It has a lot of that. It has like thousands of carats. Almost the size. It's like this. It's like roughly the size. It's like half the size of my head. It's like the size of my hand. Like if I were to, it's like a nice size, like a nice fruit, like a nice orange or a hefty apple. Roughly thousands of carats. But again, second largest, which is just this. You might consider not even competing in terms of, because nobody remembers like I wanna get iced out. What do you got for me? They'll go to the jeweler here. You can have the world's second largest. Who would want that? It's a shame. It's a travesty, to be honest with you. It's kind of a downer. But I'm always here to help to rid the nation of Botswana from this disgraceful find. I will take it upon myself to. I know what you're about to say. You're like, don't put yourself out there like that. How do you take these chances? What makes you go and do such brave acts of kindness? I do it for the people. I fucking do it for the people, all right? I don't want any sort of, You know, I'll take the world's second largest diamond off your hands, Botswana, and we will pretend like there was no find at all. Nobody will ever even discuss what a disgrace, second largest. Probably worth not as much as the first, however much it's worth, it is not. I will get rid of it. So just send it in a FedEx package to Canada. Just address it to Rob Sadri. Once it arrives, they'll know. Somebody will know. I'll go. Don't worry about it. Just don't even bother writing a return address. I will take that off your hands. Again, I don't want to. All right, there's plenty more in the ground to find. Let's go for something bigger and better. You deserve more. And again, I want to remind people that yes, although this is an extreme act of kindness, extreme selflessness, and I'm not, listen, I get it. I totally understand where you're coming from. You're like, no, don't take the world's second law. How could you? And I'm like, because I see plenty of opportunity for us to do better in the great nation of Botswana. And I'm just one person. If I can just take one world's second largest diamond and to rid an entire nation of the disgrace of having found the world's second largest, I will gladly put myself on the line. I'm online. You can DM me if you want me. I can pick it up and I'll come to Botswana. I'll go, yes, free of charge, of course. I will do that for you. And again, this is nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing wrong with the nation of Botswana and its beautiful people and its culture. Fantastic people, never been. I'm sure your culture is amazing. I would love to come visit all of Africa, the OG motherland. You know what I mean? And just eat some local foods and not mention the time that we together collectively found the world's second largest diamond, which is just nothing you want to write down in history books or even ever bring up again to anybody for that matter. And like nobody, they'll ask you, what are you proud of? What are you proud of? You could do, sports, agriculture, the people. Have you tried the food over here? It's like, but don't ever mention, because that's just, ugh. So how do I do it? I reach somewhere down inside myself, like orally. I go down. Probably shouldn't, but I reach in there though, and I don't want you to try this at home. But don't mention it. Don't mention it. Unless between you, me, the internet, everybody else out there, this is just, once again, pro bono. Pro bono. Doing it. What else is going on? There's so many things happening. It's hard for me to there's so many exciting things happening. I did watch the UFC 305 last weekend. Hells yeah, shout out to the UFC. Shout out to all the fighters. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed because I was kind of low key, because I don't want to pick, it's hard for me to pick fighters. I love, I'm not a fighter by any stretch of the imagination. Lover, this guy's a lover. But yeah, I was rooting for Adesanya. Not to take away anything from Duplessis, fucking but yes, something you watch a fight, you're like, this guy, I'm rooting for this guy. So I was a little bit, but what was really something that in not the prelims, the fights before the prelims, I think it was like the second fight, just an act of disrespect, which again, as you get, every year you get a little bit older, and it just like certain things just get like, I will never really fought in my life. I will only probably ever fight for a lump sum of money, which a huge part of it will be donated to some sort of a charity. If that should ever go down, like it has to be a hefty amount of money for me to get punched in the face or like knocked out or like put to sleep. But that being said, takes me out of the fighting game for realsies, but also if the money's right, an exhibition fight, who knows what holds out in the future. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, I saw it wasn't the first fight, it was the second fight of the night, if I'm not mistaken. They're going at it. Dude puts the other dude in a chokehold or some sort of he fucking gets in the pretzels. Fella falls asleep. He's snoozing so hard he can't even tap anymore. He's snoozing so hard. What happened afterwards? The guy who put the other guy in a chokehold and put him to sleep got up, grabbed his legs, lifted him, and shook it like this, so to add blood flow to this dude's brain so he could just kind of like fucking come back to life, that is so disrespectful, dog. That is, if I am just putting it out there, not that I get lover, not a fighter, but yo, if I ever get knocked out or like put to sleep and then I wake up and I'm like, I'm all out of it and I said, what happened? You're like, oh, nothing to worry about, man. I just put you out. How did I get up? Oh, I lifted your legs, homie. No worries. I lifted your legs so you get a little bit more blood in your head, man. Yo, leave my legs be, dog. That's so disrespectful. Getting knocked out it's not disrespectful in the sense like I don't know what you're doing, but I later found out that you're actually, again, allowing the blood to go from the feet to the head. But that's so fucking disrespectful, yo. Getting knocked out or put to sleep and then have the fella lift your legs. I don't want to be helped out at that point. I don't want to be, if you knock somebody out, have the referee do it. Don't do it yourself. It just, oh man. But that's what it is. You watch these, and it keeps getting better and better. These guys are just insane. It keeps getting better every year. The fights are exciting. They're so advanced. Their moves are bonkers. They're like fucking, yeah, the level of improvement from the early days of the UFC just to now is unbelievable. Again, hats off to all you guys and gals out there. Fucking lots of great fights. I'm excited for the new events coming up as well, but that's something that I'm just like, oh, don't lift his legs. He lifted his legs. So disrespectful. It's not this. I don't know. In my mind, I'm just like, don't touch his legs. But also, I'm glad you did. But it was just like one of those things. I'm like, yeah, I'd hate to have my legs just lifted up by a fella who knocked me out or put me to sleep. Not to say that, again, there's no shame in the game whatsoever, but I'm just saying, just thought that came to my mind. But fan, thank you for all the entertainment and all the fights. I will say this, ladies and gentlemen. I will say this, off the coast of California, somewhere near San Diego, coast of San Diego, if I'm not mistaken, there's been a video that's been going viral, that's been catching a lot of views, of dolphins jumping out of the ocean, jumping out of water, really doing some Jordan shit. They're just fucking jumping out of water. And people are, I'll say this, is it exciting? Perhaps. Is it disturbing? More so than it is exciting, because we like our fish, whether they're fish or mammals, we like them in the water, all right? I don't, to me, it's a little bit like, yeah, we're doing really well in the water, but we can also make it out here on the land sort of thing. I know they're not on land right now, but they are catching quite a bit of air, which makes me think, yeah, I like it, but also like simmer down. So in order to stop this savage act of dolphin, which are basically the ocean's rapists, by the way, if we could just, they're good if you train them well. I don't know how, like, they can assist and stuff. You could if you train a dolphin really well and you want to kind of like fucking have a gang underwater, you can really go around like feeling safer on sharks, if I'm not mistaken. Because like if a shark comes around and sees you with like 2-3 dolphins on like collars, dolphins are like the ocean's Rottweilers, but they're wet, so they're not really the ocean's Rottweilers, unless Rottweilers happen to be wet and didn't have any feet, or they had fins and they breathe under. So that's a bad analogy, like, but you get what I mean. If a shark sees it, 2-3 of them well trained, fucking let's go. I'm not feeling any sort of danger in the danger zone. But I'll say this, I've had enough of this activity. Okay, water is for the creatures that belong in the water, hence dolphins, fish, tuna, whales. I don't want to see any of them coming up anymore, to be honest, and I know you don't either. What I propose is that we just put like a glass ceiling over the water, or the ocean floor, not the ceiling rather, put a glass ceiling over the ocean so that these, it's just like, I get it, yes, you can jump, but also you don't see us like jumping in air. Like, you do see us as humans jump, but like, you know, we don't go into spaces where we are not naturally inhibiting and just like flaunting. And like airspace is kind of like our space. Airspace really does belong to the birds, but it's our earth, really. It's our earth. And I felt a little bit kind of like, whoa, what do they do? So if I felt a little bit like, whoa, what do they do? Then you might have probably felt this sort of like, is it a little bit aggro from the dolphins? I read it that way, yes. And if I read it that way, then that probably means you might have read it that way too. Did it make your child smile as they saw the dolphin? Yes, but do not be fooled by the heights. Do not be fooled by the, do not be fooled is all I'm trying to say. Put a glass ceiling over the ocean so that when they go to jump, they hit their heads and get reminded that who's on top for the time being. Humans are on top, unless robot aliens fucking, you know, merge or whatever. Like, still, we're on top. Put a glass ceiling over it. If we have to make an example out of these, I will, if you'd like, again, not a fighter, but I will roundhouse kick any of these fucks right in the fucking nostril if they just put me near a body of water. And I will just be in a, you know, I don't have a karate suit. I could get one from Amazon if I could just reach out to Bezos. I could just, you know, call Bezos personally through my Amazon account, get karate pants, work on some sort of a tan. I will need ample amounts of lube because I want this to be like a sunset sort of a deal where the sun is setting. Karate pants, no top, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 bottles of lube emptied out on my chest right here, just this part, like maybe a little bit of the torso. And I will wait for these dolphins to just hop out of the water, roundhouse kick, dude, roundhouse kick, roundhouse, fucking put a couple of them down. If you guys don't want to invest in glass ceilings over the water, because I get that, that's a big landmass. But if I swear, if I roundhouse kick a couple of these dolphins, word will get out. These guys and gals are communicating via vibrations and just underwater. They will speak in tongues and they'll get the message out, and they'll know that yes, although this freak activity is nice for the viewer, we also get that you are kind of low key. Maybe you're like, oh, let me go, you know, because it's jumping out of the water 1 second, which is like, you're like, that's fine. What if they get a taste for more air? What if they get a taste for the beach? What if they just hop out of the water, come lounge by you at your favorite destination, your local Caribbean destination, and maybe they'll take you out for a swim. That starts with a little jump right now. You're like, innocent jump, nothing to be worried about. Next thing you know, they're jumping out of the water, landing on the beach, coming to your seat, kicking you with their fins. They're kicking you off your seat, dragging your family members in the depths of the ocean, riding them in front of you, recording it, putting it on the YouTubes, going all sorts of viral, catching all sorts of subscriptions underwater. And in the meanwhile, we're like, how did this happen? Because we let it happen. Because we let it happen together. So if you want me to roundhouse kick a couple of dolphins in the fucking nose, I will gladly do it. Of course, this is with everybody's agree. I don't want to be just the only guy that's going out there. I love animals. Just want to make sure that we're all, but I do believe everything needs to be in a sort of like, you know, so like you stay in the water, fam. If you're in the water, we're cool. You start catching some air, you start catching some height, making people feel all sorts of uncomfortable, then your boy needs to fucking step in there and, you know, just fucking pump the brakes a little bit. Just pump it a little bit, because I can't have that sort of shit at my beach. Enough scaring the kids, enough scaring the women's and the elderly. And the you know, aesthetically grotesque. Stop it. Just enough. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, fellow humanoids, shout out to my autists out there. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that we are all over the place today. Last night I was watching a little bit of the DNC, just 'cause I don't know much about it. As an outsider, I like to educate myself about as many things as I possibly can. And watching the DNC, which I believe is standing for dicks, narcotics, cooch, or diving, nails, construction, or driving, nowhere, clotheslines. I don't know what it stands for. Or it might just be standing for the Democratic National Convention, the DNC. I believe that's what it is. This is a convention. It's what I went on for a few days, if I'm not mistaken. Last night was the final night. I believe what did I learn from watching didn't watch the entire thing. I just kept like glimpsing in and out of it, coming in, and there are different people that came out and gave speeches. There was lots of clapping and whatnot. What did I learn? I learned that it's pronounced, I believe it's pronounced. It's very simple. It's Cum-A-Lot. If you're having it, because I did hear Bill Clinton at one point calling her name Kamala. Wrong. What you want to do is break it apart if it's hard for you to pronounce. It's Cum-A-Lot. Cum-A-Lot. So it's like, again, as you're jizzing, remember how you jizz, how you come. Cum-A-Lot. Say it all together fast. Cum-A-Lot. Just like that. It's pronounced Cum-A-Lot. Cum-A-Lot. Again, Cum-A-Lot. Very easy to remember. I don't think we're gonna have any trouble. But that's what I learned. I'm watching it because it's exciting. It's in 2 months. The U.S. presidential debates are going on, or whatever is going on. It's not the debates, but it's like happening. The election is going on in 2 months, 70-ish, 75, 70-ish days, 2 months roughly going on. The November 5th, that's the date. Remember the date, mark the date. Make a date. Yeah, overall, I do think sometimes to myself, is it necessary to, these are just again, I don't know anything about anything. It's just random thoughts. I do wish there was a better way to like do things, and like the US is the best model in all of humanity, world, doing things. So I wish there was a better model just to make improvements. Maybe things that I like is that it's the best that we've got. That's the thing that I like. Things that I don't like, that I don't necessarily feel like, I don't like the fact that there's so much money involved in politics. There's like so much money involved in politics. Just looking at the stats of how much money needs to be raised, and like it's crazy amounts of money that go into like electing one guy or one gal from both sides. So if I were wishing well, I'd say that I'd like to see less money involved in politics. That'd be nice. I would like to see perhaps, things that I don't like, the fact that they're like, everybody should obviously have their right to voice their opinions, and because those free speech, all that jazz, everybody like, but I don't like the celebrity endorsement aspect of it, just because it's like, whoever rallies for whoever, like, but I guess also, I don't know. To me, it's just, at the same rate, I just wish, like, I want the best results. I do think, like, why do we, thoughts on the table for futures, like this time around, let's do it like this. Down the line in the futures, can the two sides, or possibly maybe 3-4 sides, where, like, bring the best candidates from all sides, merge them into one one being, just like putty, just mush them together, because at the end of the day, both sides or multiple sides allegedly want the best for the people. So if you want the best for the people, bring in various people from all sides, mush them together in a putty president, make one giant president, stack them on top of one another. Stack them on top of one another. They should be like hunchback, because they're carrying the other one on their back. Every other day they rotate. So that the best ideas from the left and the right and the center get together and form and that way we could just eliminate all this division that's caused by getting people to go out there and vote, because all the time at the end of the day, the beauty of democracy is that the people have a voice, is what they say. So I'm saying that because I think that's what it means, because people decide but sometimes, most of the times, you end up with like disappointing half the people, which is not good for morale. So if we eliminate voting and just get the best people, vote for the best people from all sides, and then make them work together, naked, in a cell, in a room, 72 hours, solve this problem, or you're not going to come out and get any food. Really make it work, because they got to work for us. That's what we need. And we need that same thing here in Canada as well. Just get everybody from because the biggest thing for everybody, after all, just put it all aside, it's money and resources. If everybody had enough money and resources, you could go out there, invest in yourself, take the time that you need to go do whatever it takes to make yourself better. And that's the bottom line. Could you afford to buy a home? Could you afford to start a family? Could you afford to have a monthly expense, random expense of $500, $1,000, $3,000 expense come up and not be devastated by it? These are the things that the rest of it is just like personal. Whether you like to put up your ass or don't. It's just like, I don't care. You don't care. What do you like? Nobody cares about these things. The most important thing is, can you afford to buy a home? Could you afford to get some sort of an education, healthcare? These are the really important things. But again, it just gets, I'd like the best for everybody, obviously. But having said that, I do want to see them just merge into, again, I don't necessarily, these are just my ideas, the wrong or right, I don't know. I'm trying to every day, like everybody else, go out there and better yourself, or a couple of days, maybe don't make yourself better, get worse, but then better yourself out there. So yes, I think maybe perhaps if we do believe in, if you not that I believe in it, but we do see signs of it every now and again, and even in more so in the recent years, of a shadow government, if you will, of running things sort of behind the scenes. Because right now, the president in the United States is before questionable whether or not he was functioning. Now he's just out of it, but the country is still functioning, right? So somebody's running something. So these mechanisms are in place. And I think presidents and prime ministers and these are basically the buffers between the people, the voters, the citizens of the nation state, and the shadow government. Now, sometimes you got to ask yourself, the best thing to simplify what I do is ask myself, which of these candidates is closest to the said shadow government matrix, which is the furthest thing apart from it. And again, we're all looking at people, and every person is imperfect. So there's no perfect candidate. There's no perfect human being that has a perfect family, that has a perfect life there. So it's all I like to see, so it was a little bit, I watched a little bit, it just felt a little bit gaslighty. Again, I don't care about the sides, left or right, because 4 years down I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm somewhere in the middle with things. I don't even like to put labels on it. I'm a human like many people out there with regular concerns. I don't really care for flags or sides. I see us as one giant ecosystem we're like a giant family. We're a giant gooey family, man. It's nice to have let's have a bar, let's party, man. That's what I'm saying, dude. But we gotta figure stuff out in order to be able to party, but also let's party. That's what I'm saying. The point is, I don't know what the point is. The point is that you want somebody that's at least not so much embedded with the shadow government, the matrix, the bureaucracy of it. And looking at the candidates again, each time you're gonna be presented with a set of imperfect candidates. And again, because it's a humongous task to put on anybody's shoulder, to ask one person to be the leader of the greatest nation or any nation for that matter. So one person, you decide what's going to be the best for all these people. And most people, again, when you look at them, most people can't even operate themselves, let alone their own families. Most people end up with, you get enough decades under you, you end up with an illness, you end up with a divorce, you end up with, you know, a couple of baby mamas, you know what I mean? It's just, and maybe not even that. At best, you could be fucking like, I don't know. Nobody's perfect is what I'm trying to say. You know, you have a kid that, you know, might be heavily under, like, you know, they might be dabbling in hard drugs, and you might have come from like wealth, you know, access to research, and still these things happen to everybody. So it's, yes, I do wish for them to come together. Whoever, you know, yeah, and yes. So go out there and do whatever it is that you believe in is doing the right thing. I think agreed upon. Voting, as they say. So like, if you believe in that, do the thing that you got to do to make sure that, but again, questionable everything is, but then again, I don't know what I'm talking about like a lot of times. So don't take my word for anything. These are just for your entertainment purposes only. What I would like to see is, yes, I would like to see, hopefully, I do see Donald Trump being less removed from the establishment and the bureaucracy and the, again, imperfect human being, just like all of us. So this is not, you know, but far less removed from the status quo than Cum-A-Lot, you know? And again, any of these people, if I were to hang with them on a one-on-one, like I genuinely love everybody. You'd really, like, there's nobody that I hate on this planet. There's literally nobody that I hate. So given, like, if I were to hang with anybody, I'm pretty sure everybody would be cool. We'd have a great time. We'd have a fantastic time. Probably go for a stroll, maybe talk a little bit, have a coffee, cigarette if you indulge, maybe a joint, maybe a couple of drinks. I don't care if you don't care. We're having a good time, man. That's what it's all about, or something. So having said that, and many other things that we've said, yes, I do see Cum-A-Lot being a little bit closer, or a lot more closer to the establishment, the status quo, despite the fact that she is on the outside representing, you know, sort of a, oh, look, this, you know, quirky name, minority, this, but, you know, out of the two, Trump is the blacker one. I think we can all agree, Trump, man's been shot, literally. That's gangster right there. I did see a lot of, yeah, it's been a lot of attacks on Trump. It's like, you know, saying things that are just not true. He's gonna be an autocrat because he literally stepped out of office. He was an autocrat. The left, you know, here in Canada, it's not been good for us. I'd like to see some change here as well. Similar over there down south in the United States, of course, very different, but similar vibes. You know, it's got, like, things have gone really unaffordable for a lot of average folks, for a lot of like everyday folks. Rents are crazy. Getting the ability to purchase a home has become incredibly difficult for a lot of people. These are, again, the major things that lead down to so many other issues, but we're not here to talk about those today. We're here to talk about how good you're looking out there, you sexy sons and daughters of bitches out there. You familiar over there? The point is, yes, again, I'm sure Cum-A-Lot would be fantastic to have, even like any of these people. And I don't care. There's, again, I feel like a little bit of gaslighting is going on, because like they'll come and like open a page from the quote unquote Agenda 25, and they'll say, oh, Trump wants to raise the cost of your insulin, and because he wants Big Pharma to make more money. Like, are you kidding me? Like, the Democrats and the left have allowed Big Pharma to make the most money with these the schmaxines, vaccines, all that. Like, what? What? What are you talking about? So, autocrat, you guys, literally the left, globally speaking, you all kind of pull together, shut down millions of businesses. Lots of businesses, money lost, families devastated, kids, God knows what kind of effect that's going to have in the long term on these people. Like, it's just, so to come out and say the things that he will do, but the things that you actually did is, again, but individually, if we were to like remove these people from politics and again, just have an afternoon hang, I'm sure all of them would be great. I don't care. Bill Clinton, frequent flyer of the Lolita Express, if we could just get a couple of questions answered, I'm sure he's a fun hang. Outside of the questionable tastes and friends that, you know, were involved in human trafficking, potentially underage human trafficking to, you know, outside of that, you know, Barack Obama, may or may not be a CIA agent who was planted. Who knows? I'll remove that. Very presidential. Yes, he's got good demeanor. We like the way he talks. Saw him speak for a few minutes as well. It's great. Everybody's great. That's the thing. Everybody's fantastic. The point is, despite the fact that I don't know. Again, given the options, I don't think, because Cum-A-Lot has been side by side with Biden, in my opinion, for the past however long she's been in there. I've not seen any positive changes. I don't think she's going to come in there and do miraculous things or great things. I think Trump will definitely bring change. I think domestically it'll be great for the US. Internationally also, I think it'll be great for the US as well to have some sort of a, strong figure who doesn't speak political lingo to the masses as if they're children. You know what I mean? Because it's very easy to have somebody dress up really, because Cum-A-Lot speaking looked like Barack Obama speaking, just female version to me. And it looks and sounds right from the outside or just on the surface. But at the same rate, these sorts of people, again, individually, if we were to just hang, I think it'd be fantastic. But some people have that ability to kind of just be closer to, and I don't it reminds me of who's closer to an Agent Smith, if you will. Cum-A-Lot, a Barack Obama seem closer to an Agent Smith than a Neo, if we were talking purely movies and Matrix. Who dodged bullets? Neo. Who dodged bullets? Trump. I mean, I'm sure there's other things that we could talk about, but that was interesting. Yeah, so I am looking forward to the elections. I do want to see a little bit of change in the Canadas as well, of course, because I don't know how long more we're supposed to I don't understand. Trudeau's been in office here for 9 years now. Get out of here, dude. So these are just a few of my thoughts that I've just been thinking about. But let's move on to other exciting events that are going on in and around the world. The world population is actually very interesting because we are going to be having more mega cities in the near future. In the next 10 to 20 to 30 years, we're going to have more mega cities. I was just reading about this fascinating story of statistics and populations. Africa is going to be one of the only continents that's going to be having a growing population with, North America is kind of evened out. It's not declining. It's not increasing significantly. Parts of Asia are in decline. Parts of Asia are in incline. Africa's growing though. And they're going to be getting a bunch of mega cities in the next 10 years. And mega cities are identified by having many of features as regular sized cities, which are great cities. Just because they're not mega, just because it doesn't mean that they don't. It's not that they say it's not the size of the city that matters, it's how you ride it. They say it's not the size of the city that dictates the ride, it's how you stroke it. They say it's not the size of the city, that it's how it feels on the inside of the city, that inside you. They say it's not the size. They say color of the city doesn't dictate the ride of the city. They say stuff like that about this. But mega cities are interesting because one of the key features of mega cities, if I'm not mistaken, is a population exceeding 10 million people. And I had to look it up. And we don't have too many of them. We do have a few mega cities in the world, but not as many as you'd think. Which was a reminder. I had to look this one up. Tokyo. I've never been to Japan. I'd like to visit, but 37 million people apparently in one city. That's so many people in one city, dude. That's like a can of sardines just waiting to just slippery, when wet, of course. I like to get in there. But all I'm saying is it's exciting. Pros and cons of mega cities versus reg-sized cities. Regular-sized cities, it's probably under 10 million, 2, 3, 4, 7 million, still a large city, but they don't have a specific name for it, which makes me want to come up with a name for it. We should, if one of them, if exceeding 10 million qualifies you for being a mega city, then a regular sized city should either be called regular cities or micro cities. But I don't think most of us living in these regular sized cities would like the denomination of micro having, where do you live? I live in a micro city. Oh, this guy's, you know what I mean? It's just not so regular sized cities. The good thing is that there's pros and cons, of course. Once a city becomes too populated, if there could be a city that's too populated, maybe people start to lose a sense of their identity, that it just kind of feels like you become maybe a number, that it doesn't really feel like, I don't know, that's just an observation. I'm not quite sure, actually, to be honest with you. I don't know. Or maybe that's just the nature of humanity kind of evolving with technology and everything that's happening. The more we grow in population, and we will grow in population, which is nice. I believe we can definitely afford to hold more. How much more? I'm not a scientist, not a registered one at least. But the point is that I do like the idea of a mega city, just because that there'll be more people, which means maybe more people would mean somehow, again, with the help of technology, removing something, I don't know, which is not, maybe people would have to, in a larger city, you'd think that people would have to work less because there's way more people, or at least there's going to be less jobs if there are going to be more people. Not that people shouldn't work. I do believe people should work, but I do also believe that the people, yeah, a lot of things do need changing. Education, the way we look at work and life and these things, yeah. So with a larger mega city, if there's like a 10 million plus population, it is interesting to think about how people get paid and how much time people spend working and all that stuff. How do Tokyo is interesting because this is a significantly small piece of landmass. So I've seen only images from people's videos. I do see a lot of people crawling in and around of each other, which is nice, because if you're lonely, you're still gonna get touched by somebody on the subway. Not like in a, but you're somebody's gonna just glide by you and be like, yes. I've not had, physical contact in some time, but hey, a shoulder touched my shoulder, which is, hey, you know what I mean? You get what you can get, and the other things will come too. But shoulder rubs, free shoulder, that's a positive, there you go, positive side of a mega city, free shoulder rubs. You could really, in a mega city, you can never really fall down. In a really crowded area, you could never really fall down. It's like a mosh pit. Like you might fall down, but you'll be picked up again. Like every mosh pit, you will not be trampled upon. Okay, sometimes that's a poor example. People do get trampled in mosh pits sometimes. Poor example. But in a city, when people are not moshing, just regular walking, if you're just stacked together like a can of sardines, it's hard for you to fall down and crack your head open. Whereas in open spaces, like if you're like anywhere, like if you're in the prairies, like in Canada, you could just easily fall down because there's like nobody around you. You could just fucking tip over like a cow on your back for like a half an afternoon, just mooing, hoping for somebody would come pick you up and like tickle your chin or something. But ladies and gentlemen, that's something that I noticed in the next 10, 20, 30 years. We are going to be getting more mega cities. We are building more infrastructure. It's nice to see. I do like to see us making it like human cities have been very sporadic, depending on, of course, like, where's the water, where's the landmass, where are the mountains and all that. But we do build sporadically. We don't build like, if we were to look at the earth and nations and countries, like let's build cities like, how do I explain this in terms of like, let's build it from the bottom up, if that makes sense. Like if you were to like zoom out and like look at North America, look at all the other countries, like it's just random places they're not random. People have like deeply looked into this and like research, but like color, like do lines and like I'll take Ontario and Canada, for example. We should build cities going up and up, like how do I explain this so that it makes sense without a picture? If you have I'll explain it with this. Imagine this is the visual, this is your country, your region, municipality, wherever. Sometimes you might have a city right there. And sometimes you might have to drive and get another city over there. And you might have 2-3 cities in a province or a state. But what if we started building from the bottom all the way across and keep going up, so to make adequate use of all the space and make everything sort of connected to, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never dabbled in city engineering, but it does seem kind of fun to think about it. Yeah, just like if you were to even like color it, instead of just like randomly coloring in a space, you'd go one line at a time, and that way you'd get cities that are closer connected. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never designed a city. It's not gonna stop us from designing cities, is it? It's not. You guys are the best. I love y'all. Where can you find these videos? Every Wednesday and Friday on Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadji. Again, if you'd like to fiscally, financially support this solo little podcast that could be one of the greatest, largest, it already is, one of the largest shows on earth. Not in terms of numbers, but in terms of spirit, which is way more important than numbers. Till next time, peace out.